Good day everyone, my name is Gerald Giral. I'm 22 years old and today we are going to discuss lesson 10 which is all about global demography. But first, let me introduce to you my co-members, Emanuela Pining, Junmar Zabala. And so Emanuela Pining will discuss to us population trend comparison and human population issue. Junmar Zabala which is in charge to environmental impact and the factors affecting birth rates. Now, here are reports for today. What is global demography? Demography is the scientific study of human population, primarily with respect to their size, their structure, and their development. It takes into account the quantitative aspects of their general characteristics. So, demography is the statistical study of human population, especially human population. Demography is also encompasses the study of the structures, the distribution of this population, and temporal changes in them in response to birth, migration, aging, and death. So there are 4 stages of the classical demographic transition model. And here is first stage is the pre-transition. Stage 2 is early transition. Stage 3 is a late transition, and the last one is stage 4, post-transition. Pre-transition is characterized by high birth rates and high fluctuating birth rates. Stage 2 is early transition. Early transition is during the early stage of transition, the death rates begins to fall. As the birth rates remains high, the population start to grow rapidly. But the stage 3 is late transition. Late transition, ito yung birth rates start to decline and the rates of population decelerates. And stage 4 is the post-transition. The post-transition is ito yung post-transitional societies are characterized by low birth and low death rates. Population grow in negligible or even enter a decline. So, sobrang importante pag-aralan natin yung demography. Dito natin malalaman kung ilan na yung lahat yung population dito sa mundo. And also population studies will help us to know for the growth rates of the economy, keeping pace with the growth rates of population. So sabi nga dito sa late transition, birth rates start to decline or rates of population decelerates. If population increasing at the faster rate, the pace or the improvement or progressing of the development of the economy will be slow or humihina siya. So, meron ditong sample of current population trend. Nakikita natin year 1950 until 2050. Ito yung projection ng mga eksperto. But in current population in year 2020 is growing at a rate of around 10.5 per year, down from 10.08% in 2029, 1.0% in 2018, and 1.12% in 2017. So, the current average population increase is estimated at 81 million people per year. Annual growth rates reach its peak in the rate 1960. So, nakikita natin dyan sa nagsimula sa 1960. But the current population dito sa 2020 is tumataas ng pataas at yung estimated na mga eksperto is aabot siya ng 81 million per year. So dito is matataasan ng 2% yung current population natin per year. So the next reporter, si Mr. Lapining, will tackle about the population trend comparison and human population issue. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Emmanuel Lapening, and today we are going to talk about the Lesson 10 Global Demography, Population Trend Comparison and Human Population Issue. So let us begin. The population trend or the overpopulation has different impact in developed countries and developing countries. Now when we say developed countries, these are countries that are industrialized and has high income, high quality of life, and advanced technological infrastructure. So it has also high human development index. Now when we say human development index, this refers to the education and life expectancy of a country. These countries include the US, Germany, Russia, and Japan. So while the developing countries naman, these are countries with a less developed industrial base and has a low human development index. Meaning to say, mababa yung educational level and lifespan ng mga tao na nandito sa country. So sa nakikita nyo sa screen, the developed countries has low infant mortality rate. Now when we say mortality rate, this refers to yung bilang ng mga bata na namamatay sa pagpapanganak pa lamang. Sa developed countries, it has low infant mortality rate, while the developing countries such as the India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and the Philippines, it has high infant mortality rate. Maraming bata na namamatay dito sa pagpapanganak pa lamang. So the next one is the life expectancy. Sa developed countries, 70 years. Aabot pa 70 years mga tao doon, while sa developing countries, life expectancy 50 years. Pag patong mo ng 50 anyos, expected na mamamatay ka na. Now that is according to research. And the total fertility rate is 2.0 sa developed countries. Now total fertility rate simply refers to yung bilang ng mga bata na inaanak, no? So the developed countries 2.0, while the developing countries yung total fertility rate is 5.7. So dito makikita na yung mga developed countries ay mas nakokontrol nila yung kanilang pagre-reproduce kumpara sa developing countries, no? Kulang tayo sa ganun. Kulang tayo sa mga policy, no? Ganun. So the next one, 21% of their population sa developed countries is less than 15, while 44% of the developed countries is less than 15. So ito namang per capita GDP, this means it measures the sum of marketed goods and services produced within the national border or within the country. Ito yung mga goods, mga products na ni-produce nila, gina-market, no? So in other words, it is simply the country's economic output. So as you can see in the screen na it has a big difference, no, sa developed and developing countries. Kasi sa developed countries, their economic output is 536,110. While sa developing countries naman is only 5,800. So malaki talaga yung difference, no? Kasi yung overpopulation although maraming tao sa developed countries, kaya naman nilang i-sustain ang mga pangangailangan nila. Well, sa developing countries naman, on the other hand, is nahihirapan tayo, no? Since mababa yung ating economic output, medyo walang opportunity dito sa developing countries. So the next one is human population issue, or the impact of overpopulation sa ating resources and the environment, no? Since ang environment natin is the most vulnerable, ito yung pinakaunang naapektuhan sa overpopulation. So these are the factors that determine the impact of a society on natural resources. Number one is the population size. So this simply refers to the number of individuals in population or bilang ng mga tao. So increase in population, no, kapag maraming tao, maraming kinakailangan. So it needs a lot of resources. Saan tayo kukuha? Siyempre doon sa ating natural resources or natural environment. So if we keep on increasing, we keep on harvesting or gaining the goods and para ma-sustain nato ang atong life, then some of the effects are irreversible, no, sa atong natural resources. So meaning time will come na magkakaroon ng scarcity or kakulangan, lalo na dito sa mga developing countries, no, na napapansin nyo na maraming nahihirap kasi maraming tao tapos walang opportunity, walang mga trabaho. So the next one is the population density. This refers to the average number of individuals per unit or area or volume. Now ito naman, ang example nito is, let's say sa isang syudad, no, since maraming trabaho sa syudad, maraming opportunity, yung mga tao na galing sa probinsya pupunta doon at magtratrabaho. Na ganito yung mangyayari pag lumipat na yung mga taga-probinsya sa syudad para magtrabaho, meaning dadami na yung populasyon doon. Pagkatapos, yung kanilang mga, sa napapansin nyo, yung mga bahay ay magkadikit-dikit na, no? Guot na siya. So yun yung population density, yung bilang ng mga tao sa isang lugar or sa isang area. The third one is the degree of technological advancement. This is an attempt at extending or further understanding the underlying science used to develop current materials or devices, products, or processes. Now, technologies also affect our natural resources or our environment. No, let's say for example, yung mga sasakyan, mga transportation vehicle, nag-i-emit sila ng mga carbon dioxide that can cause air pollution. So, syempre, ang air pollution nakakasira sa ozone layer, sa ating atmosphere, where in fact, according to recent studies, yung butas ng ating ozone layer is mas malaki pa sa Antarctica, no? So very dangerous and threatening. So kabilang na doon yung mga nuclear power plants na nag-i-emit yun ng mga greenhouse gases. So it does not only affect the environment but also our health. So all in all, overpopulation is very dangerous and threatening. So kinakailangan talaga natin na magbawas, mag-control, no, birth control at saka education talaga. No, dapat ng education sa mga bata, sa mga estudyante at sa lahat. So that's all guys, thank you.
Environmental impact. More people require more resources, which means as the population increases, the Earth's resources deplete more rapidly. The result of this depletion is deforestation and loss of biodiversity as humans strip the earth of resources to accommodate rising population. Nakasaad dito na ang epekto ng pagdami ng population o tao sa isang lugar at kakulangan din ng pangunahing kailangan ng isang tao at bunga nito ay ang paggiba o pagwasak ng kagubatan para matugunan lamang ang kailangan ng isang tao o ng population. Factors affecting both rates and total facility rates. Children in labor force. Children in labor force, it includes employment below the minimum age as established in national legislation, hazardous unpaid household services, and the worst forms of child labor. All forms of slavery or practices similar to slavery, such as sale or trafficking of children. Serfdom or force of compulsory labor. Infant mortality rates. And infant mortality rates is the number of infant deaths for every 1,000 live births. Average marrying age. In 2019, the median age of marriage or the age at which half of the populations were younger or older upon marriage, was 27 years old for women and 29 years old for men. Moreover, median age of marriage for both sexes were the same since 2017. Abortion. Abortion is the termination of pregnancy by removal or expulsions of an embryo or fetus. Availability of birth control. We all both know that we have a lot of common birth control such as condoms, pills, IUD, and etc.